You are listening to the Terra-Four Chronicles. Terra-Four, now an abandoned mining planet, was once a galactic object of desire. The planetary mining colossus, a company, Aquastar, had secured exclusive rights to the orbiting jewel about 10 years after its discovery. Well, I say secured exclusive rights, but what I really mean is that they kicked down the door of the solar system and sat on that planet with all of their capitalist might. All other interested parties simply exhausted their resources and had to give up during the acquisition phase. Terra-Four was inexplicably rich in a mineral vital to quantum computing. A single solid vein of this mineral, plunging about 1.5 times the depth of Challenger Deep in the Marianas Trench on Earth, led to an unprecedented mineral rush that eventually doomed an entire planet. Aquastar touching down on a world to begin operations is more like a bustling metropolis halo jumping into the nearest flat, open area. In the case of Terra-Four, a massive 3D printed city, the first of its kind, landed about 20 miles from the large mineral vein in the middle of a vast desert. It had a length and width of 100 city blocks and was complete with infrastructure, housing, and even mass transit. The 5 central obelisk-like skyscrapers gave the city its name, the Spires. Within the first 6 months, it developed into a fully functioning city, and Aquastar set its collective sights on the large mineral vein that made Terra-Four famous. Several mining records were broken, as is the standard for Aquastar projects, and the bulk of the ore was shipped off-planet in just under 6 years. After Aquastar ceased primary operations, bidding for the rights to smaller deposits commenced. Companies specializing in things like hard rock mining, wildlife infestation, or deep delve mining began to scout the location. The attraction of embedded Aquastar technology, combined with the comparatively large amount of ore still available, led to many offers on the massive mine, which had become colloquially known as the Delve. 18 minutes after Aquastar left the planet, the winning companies touched down and began their race to stake a claim on the best spots. The faces of these companies are that of specialized, dedicated, hardworking teams of scientists and engineers. The reality is that these companies often break regulations, safety procedures, and contracts in order to gather the most ore. While open fighting is rare and overt sabotage is considered unsportsmanlike, there is a strict sense of competition, territory, and propriety that comes with being one of these secondary companies. Some of the larger mines can have up to 20 different organizations working in the hard-to-reach spaces. On Terra-Four, there are technically 7. Among those 7 companies was a company called Moxcom, a technology-driven upstart led by the quantum computing savant Francisco Mosca. In the spirit of competition and cutthroat capitalism, Francisco designed a computer virus that would overlay an operating system, his own, and convert all of the embedded Aquastar technology, everything from door locks to life support, into a microtransaction-based profit scheme. The efficient and streamlined state-of-the-art Aquastar operating system took action immediately and went into a code gray, shutting down nearly all systems, but it was too late. The virus had embedded itself into the startup program, and when the Aquastar system came back online, it went into a code white, a full defense mode intended to protect the mine against electronic security threats. The cruel twist of it all was that a code white prevented any systemic parameters from being changed, including the presence of the MoxCom virus. Well-prepared teams of stalwart engineers and scientists suddenly found themselves being asked for currency to operate embedded equipment, keep the lights on, or even maintain oxygen levels. In a last-ditch effort to protect itself, the Aquastar system assembled several partitions within itself, and began to alternate between shutdowns and the hybridized coin-operated system designed by Mosca. This unpredictable weather-like effect made operations in the mine dangerous, even at the best of times. In the first days after the systemic overlay, many lives were lost. Francisco Mosca, leader of MoxCom and designer of the virus, became a wanted criminal and was actively hunted until he disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Thereafter, the mine was no longer known as the Delve, but instead as Francisco's Folly. As the weeks went on, rescue missions for groups stranded or trapped by the systemic overlay became fewer and farther between. Even the most well-meaning companies had to cut its losses at some point. Most did sooner rather than later. Aquastar excused itself from all of the problems, citing contractual responsibility transfers and the harm done to existing systems by the MoxCom virus. The company essentially put all the blame onto one missing man, and with it, the responsibility to fix the problem. On top of that, they were already getting a share from each of the companies that had won a bid. As part of the standard contract, the 7 companies on the planet must have representatives on-world and produce a quantity of ore quarterly. Each company regularly loses money on these sites, but they have to be kept open or they risk losing other contracts with Aquastar. In the bigger picture, it made sense for most of these companies to take a loss on Terra-Four, while recouping those losses on other mines. With operations all but stopping, the Spires became a ghost town in every sense of the word. A large portion of it was rolled over upon by dunes, making it nearly uninhabitable. Only the most basic of equipment finds its way to the surface of the planet. Even then, it wastes away from overuse, or is lost entirely to harsh sandstorms. The population dwindled to only what was absolutely necessary to fulfill contractual obligations, and in some cases, well below. Exploration has been hindered greatly by the discovery of hostile native life. Reports of indestructible quadrupeds keep people indoors often, and only a few leave the stone foundation of the spires. Even staying inside the city has its own risks. With resources so low, crime is one of the few ways to get ahead, and in some circumstances, is the only way to survive. Adding to the already unfortunate circumstances surrounding the planet is the high concentration of a naturally occurring explosive mixture known commonly as fulminating gold. Aside from hindering exploratory activities, this mixture has seen use in small-scale warfare between factions in the city. The trademark purple vapor given off as part of the explosion has led to what are commonly called purple zones, leaving them nearly uninhabitable as remaining unexploded pieces will explode under light pressure, such as footfall. These pieces may also explode when exposed to direct sunlight. A mass chemical breakdown process is being developed. Growing in tandem to the fulminating gold deposits is a psychoactive and highly addictive mold, known as gold carpet. A fermentation process using this mold, discovered by biodiesel developers, produces a liquid called Terra-Shine, which is rumored to have miraculous restorative properties. Much of the mold's psychoactive properties remain intact, even after fermentation. The producers of Terra-Shine are the leading crime syndicate who maintain a city outside of the spires. Due to the scarcity of the product, little is known about its properties outside of these rumors. The still adapting secondary market tends to follow the demand of one of those products, and depends largely on the prevalence of faction war. Additionally, the scarcity of quantum energy sources has led to interest in older technologies, including steam, black powder, solar, and wind energy, though these technologies are usually hindered by constant sandstorms. Located in the middle of the spires is the one remaining piece of functional quantum technology, the replicator. Known locally as the Cube, this massive structure supplies the entire city with food and other products deemed necessary for survival by Aquastar and other companies that won bids on Terra-Four. It operates exclusively within the confines of contracts and requires a company ID in order to operate. The catalog of items is often limited by the type of ID used to operate the replicator. The higher the position in the company, the more products are available. A higher position may also have different rationing parameters. Conflict between factions is kept to a minimum in this area due to the mutual recognition of the cube for what it really is, the only lifeline for the entire planet. An open market operates nearby as well, and often sees handmade or refashioned items. The ingenuity present in these objects is a strong reminder that the people in these markets, despite their sandy appearance and bad fortune, were at one point engineers, under the employ of competitive mining companies. Terra-Four's reputation has made off-planet travel difficult. Many ships are not authorized to take passengers, and the few that are charge exorbitant prices, knowing that people will eventually pay to get back to their homes. Unfortunately, several that pay the high fees often end up as slaves on the ship they've booked passage on anyway, despite their best intentions. The few that do leave Terra-Four without incident have often come there of their own free will. Terra-Four is a ruined planet, with only a few rewards that don't come with extreme danger. It's often said that you shouldn't go there unless you're prepared to come face to face with a planet full of what are essentially prisoners and psychopaths. While it's not quite so simple, the people of Terra-Four can be typified in the following ways. The first and most common are the failures. These people, through mistake or misdeed, have lost money for their company, and as a cost-effective alternative to severance package, they are sent here indefinitely, with a huge pay decrease and a pretend office job. Those of this type that don't find a way off the planet usually don't last longer than a year. The second are the thrill seekers. They know that Francisco's Folly is a dangerous place, and they want to see for themselves what it takes to survive here. Survival on Terra-Four is a quick way to make a name for yourself, and several successful people have started their career in the spires. Corporate leaders and crime bosses make up the majority of this type. The third and rarest type are the specialists. These folk are motivated by trying to get Francisco's Folly back online. They're focused on the huge rewards that can come their way if they succeed, or alternatively, by knowing that they've made the world a better place by erasing the mistakes of the irresponsible few. Unfortunately, no one has succeeded so far. And these people, just like the failures, rarely last a year before giving up or meeting a cruel end. The question I have for you, now that you're here, is which one are you? You are listening to the Terra-Four Chronicles.